Greetings, queens. Welcome back to my channel. Sabrina, looks like you in trouble, girl. I knew that it was going to come to bite you in the behind. So much went on this episode. It's getting pretty exciting, and we are winding down to the finale. Let's get into it. Now, as we start into the episode, Logan and Dani had a date, and I thought Dani was very nice. It was really refreshing how she was genuinely trying to get to know Logan. Of course, we had some humor in the date with some of the comments she made, but they were really trying to get to know each other. And I think that that is something that, Dani hasn't, she needed this date. She hadn't, getting over the things with Preston and, the whole mood, but they were really trying to learn a little bit about backgrounds, where they went to school. I got to know Dani a little more intimately because, I can see how when he asked her about her education in school, how she really didn't get a chance to get her master's because like many of us, we're grinding day to day, trying to keep our head above water, trying to pay the bills. And a lot of times we just don't make it to finish that degree. And I think, it pretty much takes its toll on her because I think, sometimes with the girls, Dani is the butt of their jokes and, they laugh at her, yeah, my sister may smoke a little, do her drinks and may not, have the best solid relationships with men, but Dani is real, and I've always liked her because of that. So they got into, the music that they like, and they shared that, and she mentioned his ring, and he said no, he wears a ring. I don't know if he's married. If that's the truth, we are yet to learn things about Logan. Maybe he's just doing it as a part of his working with the feds, but she asked him, did he, have any friends or whatever that was cows? He like, huh? She said, long story. I guess she's still traumatized from her relationship with Preston. But I think the night overall, was pretty good with them getting familiar a little bit more with one another until, they get interrupted a little later and joined by Sabrina and her date. So we're going to check that out, right? Now, here we have Maurice and Q. Now, this is a disaster waiting to happen, and we are going to see next episode how this is going to spiral out of control. Of course, Q is trying to sweet talk, as always, Maurice, and Maurice is really not falling for that. And then it's funny how he was trying to get him to admit that he set up that whole, robbery at the bank. And, of course, Maurice is going along with it as a joke. But little did we know, unbeknownst to us, as we'll see next week, that Q is actually working with Logan. And I think as a way of him getting out of jail early, I think Logan was working on that case and he probably made up some lie that he was in cahoots with Sabrina and Maurice on the inside in order to get out, and plotted to make it happen and stay with Maurice so he can get that admittance on tape. And so that's what that is. Now, of course, Maurice is joking, but he doesn't know that Q is wearing a wire and he's looking to get him to admit to this robbery and put it on him and Sabrina so he can get himself clear. So Q is no good, up to no good, like I always thought he would. So, they really, really better, watch out and be careful of Q because it's about to get crazy. Now, here we have Aaron and Gary. Gary's, still freaking out with the whole thing over Andi and the situation. He don't have his telescope no more over there peeking. But, Aaron is trying to talk him off the ledge, so to speak, and get him to calm down and relax before he tries to talk to Andi again. And he really is not feeling it because he knows the situation with her and Robin, and he's freaking out. So Aaron, as a suggestion, told him, well, why don't you just go try to get with someone else? Go out and date. So Gary's looking at him like, are you serious? And he went for a low blow. A brother told him, well, didn't your wife kill herself? I guess saying that, you went out with somebody else on her and she's no longer here. Not like Andi gonna go and kill herself because you go on another date. That ain't even gonna happen. So I don't even know why he would say something like that, but it was very hurtful to Aaron, and he really was like done with even trying to counsel him or anything after that. I guess he had to calm down because Gary was getting a little personal and a little mean. And so he was out of there. Of course, Gary begged him not to leave. But at this point, Aaron is heated and he's like, no, I got to calm down. I'm not doing this. So here we joined by Sabrina and Bio, I think his name, for dinner. And, Dani's basically saying you're late. She apologized. So they're sitting down, the four of them. Now, this is where it gets crazy. So all of a sudden, Logan speaks to Sabrina, then he looks over at Bio and says, don't I know you? So Bio's like, no, we don't know each other, kind of like played it off a little bit. I don't know if he was nervous about it, but Logan instantly got shook. Instantly. And lied and said, he had a call. Dani like, I didn't hear the phone. Oh, it was a text. She was like, she wasn't buying it because she already thinks that the brother is married anyway. So she got a little uncomfortable about that whole situation because they're double dating. Of course, she wanted to make a good impression, but a brother up and left, instantly up and left. So, there was something suspect on that. So Dani felt a little jilted at this point, which I don't blame her because if I was in her situation or any of us, we would be suspect too. So Bio's looking at her like, he doesn't know what's up. Deer, his eyes like a deer in the headlight, and said, why don't we, she wants to leave. So he said, why don't, I get my driver? And she says, oh, wow, driver. She's impressed. But she said, no, I'm good. I'm getting up and I'm leaving. Now, this slick brother, he comes out of his mouth and goes to Sabrina. Oh, Dani is such a beautiful lady, raving about her beauty. And she was like, yes, my friends are very beautiful. He was like, yeah, I like to meet all of your friends. And then that started to give me that multiple wives thought in my mind. Raving up so much about how Sabrina is so beautiful, but it seems like you want a concubine of beautiful beauties around you. And that really made Sabrina feel uncomfortable. She was like, you want me to go get her? He was like, can you? Then she was like, that really messed up her whole night. Then he's like, no, let's have dinner. And kind of try to nonchalantly, brush it off. And I'm like, really, Bio? Are you serious? You disrespect her and talking about her beautiful friend and how you want the friend. And then can you call her back? Then you're going to try to dust it off and nix it off like it was nothing? No. At that point, put in the comments, how many of you would have continued with the date just because he's a quote-unquote African prince? Or would you have been out of there? Because that, I think, after that, Sabrina was totally uncomfortable. He seems to be oblivious, like he really didn't say anything wrong. I don't know how you talk, to women over an African brother, but here in America, a sister would be teed off by you saying something like that about her friend. Any of us. It was just totally disrespectful. Now we have Zach. He's here fussing with the lady who gave him the stock tip, telling her she wants him to meet her at this hotel. He's now has this whole thing in his mind, stressing out over this, and in comes Fatima. Now it's really hard to tell her what's going on with the stock that this woman wants her. Of course, he doesn't want his woman. Everything is going smooth and good. Involved in this madness, wondering what does this woman want, And Fatima's trying to be cool with it. She was like, who is that? Is it Karen? He's saying no. He really doesn't want to talk about what it is. She's, trying to be that supportive woman that she is, but she knows something's on her man's mind. He doesn't want to say. His whole mood changed from when she last saw him. Now, put in the comments, what do you think? Do you think he should talk to Fatima about what's going down with the senator's wife and these stocks and want to meet with him? Do you think Fatima should come with him to be on the safe side? Or should he totally leave her out of it? Because at this point, she's kind of pissed off that he's not being honest. He's not trusting her. And she goes, off and, tries to calm down and takes her bubble bath. Now, in the meantime, here Logan is calling Dani as she gets home, pissed off. You stood me up, embarrassed me in front of my friend and her date. What the heck is going on? So he's like, I'm right outside the door. Can I come in? So, Logan is here telling her, asking questions about Sabrina. What, he knows her name. He knows the bank she works at. So now, red flags, Dani is real pissed and she's suspect, because he's keeping everything surface level, asking her questions. Do you think she's the type to do anything, I guess illegal with the bank? No, she's the most, square person out of all the girls, which she totally is. She would not do anything like that. He was like, it's good, but a sister needs to get a lawyer. I'm like, I'll be doggone. Number one, I think it's a whole issue going on between Logan and Q getting out. I think he tried to do something to get out early. He put the blame on them, but also he knows bio. And I think because something's going on with him and the money in the bank and the situation with Q, it's all starting to intertwine, and it's looking like Sabrina has some kind of illegal stuff going on, and that setup may be real if Q can get that admission, and also something going on with bio. It's a crazy mess, but Dani was pissed off because Logan wouldn't tell her. How can you tell me something like this about my friend needs to get a lawyer and asking about her work, but then you won't even tell me what's going on? It's a total mystery. I can't wait till it all unravels. Put in the comments, what do you think is going on with this scenario? What's the story with bio, and what's the story with Q and Logan? I mean, it's getting really, really crazy. Now girl Fatima is here trying to relax, de-stress after getting a little, upset with her man, but he comes in with a glass of wine, tells her thanks, for her really being patient and not pressing him to explain what's going on, but, he'll talk to her about another time. And of course she threw it in there, will he say something? And he's like, no, not right now. But she asked him if he wanted to come in with her, and he said no. He was tempted by it, but he wouldn't. Now we know what's about to go down with Karen coming over. So really this whole scenario with you being on the phone and changing your attitude and looking a little stressed and agitated, it's going to look like it was Karen. And I really wouldn't be surprised. I would suspect the same thing if I was Fatima, with him being so shady. That's why I think he just needs to fess up and let her know what's going on with this woman at the hotel. That's just my opinion. So let me know what you think when it comes to that. So sister's relaxing while Zach goes out. Now, here you have Andi calling Karen because, she's dealing with this issue with Gary. And our girl really don't want to hear nothing she got to say. I mean, this was the highlight of the entire night, because here we have someone who's going into turmoil over her ex who she wants back. Here we have Andi going over turmoil over an ex she wants back. You women are too beautiful and too intelligent to be bringing this toxicity from exes into your life. But I think we've all been there. And put in the comments if you can relate to this. It's heartbreaking because her heart is still missing Zach. And, he has his beautiful home now, but he has another woman. And I may possibly be carrying his child. And now he doesn't want me. So, Andi wants to talk to her about that. Her mind's not there. She basically telling Andi she's going to do what she want to do anyway. But Andi's telling her the scenario. And now she snapped and thought about the fact that she believes Robin knows that she's been with Gary knows she's been with Robin. She doesn't know how, but he gave her that same look she's thinking about with the other guy that she was talking to when he went ballistic before. So she explained that, and she said, are you afraid to meet with him? Like, if that's the case, then don't meet with him. She said, no, I don't think he's going to do anything to her. And of course Karen got her eye on that house. She don't really want to talk to nobody. She lied, told Andi she was just going for a ride to clear her head. But Andi asked her, are you in front of Zach's house? And she said, yeah, we got to talk. Oh boy. So anyway, here she gets a call from Gary. Gary's on his way up. Now, he's still acting a little weird like he did before. Of course, he don't want to sit by her again like before because he knows her and Robin was sitting on that couch. So she wanted to talk to him like, what's up? Like, what's the deal with you? Why are you acting weird? Is something going on? Is it Hayden? Do you have cameras in here? And he's like, no, I don't have cameras. Did Hayden say anything? Why would you think it's Hayden? So she was like, come on, I know it's something you're hiding. Let me know now if you're spying on me. And I'm shocked. I am really, really shocked. Because at this point, Andi wants the real deal. Like, she stood up to Gary, even though he's crazy, choked her out before. She didn't care. She wanted to fess up. And surprisingly enough, he said, yeah, I've been watching. He don't have surveillance in there. And she said, what? He said, I've been watching you from the building across the street. My office is right over there. What? Like, how can you possibly see? And he told her a telescope. And he acted as if, oh, it wasn't no big deal. I was just looking. She was livid. You hear me? Livid. I'm like, Andi, stop it with this guy. He's not going to change. You don't need this type of madness in your life. Let this man go. She went off. She was pissed. She said, I hope you liked what you saw, me effing another man. I'm like, oh God, you really looking to be smacked, shot, strangled again, or whatever. She told him to get out. She said, no, better yet, I'm going to go back to my old apartment, because she said, listen, being in this apartment, I know I'm in this penthouse, it's going to come with strings attached. And that's me being connected to you. Of course, that's what he wanted. She ran out. I guess she's going back to her own place, and he's following her out. Now, here we go. A very, very emotional scene that wrapped up. Now, everyone knows that's been listening to my reviews on this show. You know how I'm so pissed off with Karen, wishing she'd leave Fatima and Zach alone. But I thought this was very heart-wrenching. She goes to his door. This is her last-ditch effort to try to win over her man back, because from last week she talked to Sabrina. She thinks he's back to his old tricks. He wants her to beg. They plead. They play this song and dance, cat and mouse game. But that's not the case this time, Karen. And this is what she can't see. Like, she feels like, oh, you won't let me in? 3 years at my house, and now I said, you getting slick, Karen. 3 years at my house, and I can't even go in your house. No, he has a woman. That's disrespectful. So he called outside. They talked outside. She said, come on, stop this. It's time for you to stop. What do you want me to do? You want me to beg? He was like, what do you want, Karen? It's over. She was like, cut out the games. No, it's not over. You always do this. You've done it in the past. You go out, you cheat, you come back. I'm done with this. And he's really trying to tell her to go. Karen, it's over. And the sad thing about it is you see the agonizing pain, because he really, after 3 years with somebody, I believe he does love her. He may not be in love with her like it was, but it was a toxic relationship from the beginning. I mean, it wasn't abusive, but it was a lot of cheating and disrespect going on, and her putting him down as a man because he wasn't where he needed to be. And he was pleading with her. Remember, you put me out. You wanted this. She said, I know, but I want you back. Is that what you want to hear? And they were wrangling back and forth. It was eating Zach up. He really was practically in tears, having to tell her that he's in love with another woman. And she said, you can't be. I'm pregnant with your child. I can't believe you saying this to me. Are you really telling me that this is over? Stop it. So they're going back and forth with the pleading and the begging. And at this point, Zach is like, this is not you, Karen. This is not you. You don't go begging somebody to get back. What is wrong with you? And the fact that she's in a vulnerable position, it's going to be even harder for her. So I'm like, Karen, stop. Take whatever dignity is left in your self-respect. Focus on you and your child, and figure out who the father actually is, because she didn't say that. She's crying with him, pleading, but, I'm pregnant with your child. He said, we'll handle it. And she's like, oh, we'll handle it? That's how it's going to be? We just going to handle it? Well, come on. Let's go handle it. Let's go in the house and handle it. He was like, I'm done. I have nothing else to say to you, Karen. She's not hearing it. It's not getting through to her. She can't believe that finally this is actually over. She said, no, we're going to deal with this. Let's go in the house. My. Well, old girl heard her upstairs and said, yeah, you don't have no more to say. Something like that. And she's looking at her with her little sexy lingerie on. And she said, oh, I'm coming down. We talking. So she was like, come on in. Let's talk. Oh, boy. I knew old girl was up there listening. Listen, family, it is going to be crazy. Do you know we have one episode left before the finale? We see in the previews, we got to deal with old Q and Logan working together to set up Maurice and Sabrina. We have the so-called quote-unquote baby's mama coming to the house. How does she know that? Remember that lady that was looking for Zach going to Karen's shop? I'm sure she told her all the information on where Zach is living and also Karen's shop. Because if you saw in the previews, she's going to Karen's shop as well. Is this Zach's baby's mama or is Hayden behind it? Because you see that the lady with the stocks told Zach that she got a phone call from a lawyer. So we know who that lawyer is. Is Hayden? Is this child another setup from Hayden? I mean, I think Hayden is trying to get at Zach at every turn and every angle that he possibly can to fry this man because he's just that obsessed and has that much of a vendetta. It's absolutely getting crazy. I can't believe it's down to the finale. So listen, get back to me at the next episode so we can wind this down on this finale episode because I think it's only one more left before it's all over until next season. So let's get into it and find out what happened. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next time.